One word. One hypnotist, Chris Jones. One word. The One Word Chris Jones podcast this month talking about what's on everybody's mind these days, of course, talking COVID-19. And Chris actually has a special guest with him, the much better half of the equation there. Stacy's joining him for the first time. Stacy, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
So things nowadays, you guys basically have a whole life that's changed. You guys just got married. You're pregnant with your first child. You guys bought a house. Now we're dealing with a pandemic, and we all have to kind of shelter in place. How are you guys dealing with that?
I think we're doing pretty good. I'm doing great because I'm stuck with someone who I really, really enjoy being around. So, Stacey?
That's very sweet, and I would agree. And, every day it's kind of like, all right, we're just grateful to spend time together and grateful to be in our new house and not in our old apartment where there were some issues. So, very, very grateful for that. And I don't know, we've been playing a lot of games together, playing a lot of Jeopardy against each other, which has been fun, and just trying to enjoy the time as much as possible.
Well, I'll tell you what, the few times that Chris has won, I see that he posts on Facebook that he won, so...
The few times is key there.
Dude.
Hey, that's what friends are for, Chris.
You have the option of talking in your cell phone or ringing in with the TV or typing it in, and I can't spell for shit, and I can't talk for shit. So I'm like, no, that's right. And then I'm like, see, it's right. I'm like, that's 1,000 points gone. Like,
right.
I had the final Jeopardy in like 5 rounds, and we're playing college too. Like, I should know this stuff.
Well, you probably play more colleges than anybody I know.
Right? Like, one of them was like, college mascots. Like, I got this. Like, Boilermaker. Did you say dick maker? No, nothing close to it.
So how's the who won the chess games?
Oh, I can beat my wife in chess.
Oh yeah. He does a lot of playing.
How about Connect 4?
Ooh, that's where skills are pretty matched there.
Yeah.
If she gets mad, she goes Hulk.
All right, Stacey, I got to ask, since you're married to a hypnotist, does he ever use his hypnotic presence in order to win games?
He has not. And maybe this is the time I should actually get hypnotized because I've never been.
Really?
So, yeah, something to think about.
She talks about hypnobirthing.
Oh, yeah, I do want to learn about that. I'm very interested. What
did you call it, Chris?
Yeah, hypnobirthing. Using hypnosis. Yeah, for childbirth.
Huh. Well, there you go. You could learn that, and then that could be a whole nother side gig for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could do that. You would be great at hypnotizing women.
Me?
Yeah, I don't want to be like, oh, when you're feeling pain, you don't feel pain. They're like, bullshit.
You wouldn't be like that, though. You're very empathetic.
So how are you guys dealing with the COVID-19 and all the quarantine and all that?
It's been, so I work in a school, so I've been working from home, and we're, a lot of my time is trying to figure out ways to provide services to students and families remotely. I'm a social worker, so just been doing a lot of remote meetings with my school and organization, and just trying to, be creative in new ways to connect with them. And I don't know, as far as us, we've been just trying to get our house organized and find different ways to be, getting creative together, and like art and games and walking our dogs a lot.
Yeah. They get usually an hour worth of walking. And because I do all these college days, we're not allowed to be in rooms of more than 7 people. All my shows have been postponed. Like, some schools are saying you can't perform until July. And even then, it should be online. So, a little scary.
Really? Wow. So, have you ever thought about doing like tele type shows?
I have. I think a lot of performers really like their audiences. And you feed off their laughing. Your timing comes from their laughing. So, like, Stephen Colbert and all these late shows are doing shows without audience, and it doesn't hit the same way.
No, it really doesn't. And especially like with yours, I mean, you're calling people up from the audience to come on up and to do things, so it'd probably be a lot different in a situation like that. So do you think that we're doing the right thing with with the quarantine and the shutdown of basically the country?
Coach Stacy?
Yes, I think science tells us a lot, and people think we need to listen more to people who know what they're talking about. And I recognize that's not my area of expertise, but trying to find those good sources of people who do. And I think it's been clear, it's showed between country and country how they handle it, and even city to city, of how it has just grown when you're not quarantined like this. There's obviously more research and stuff, a lot of unknowns throughout this whole thing, but I think this is the one thing that shows that it's very easily spread. That's the scary part.
I think that's the question. People are asking if it's good or bad. And I want to just compare it to other countries. Like, people in Italy are going around and yelling at people who are outdoors. China was monitoring people from their car, and if they were experiencing symptoms, they would separate them immediately. I think you have to find the middle path. Like, you should, to some degree, chastise people who are going out, but you shouldn't lock people up within their families because they have symptoms. How's America doing it? Of course, we could do better. I'll echo what Stacey said. Yeah, look at other countries and look at the science that says people are getting sick. This isn't a hoax.
Do you think we're going to survive as a country or as a world with this?
Oh, yeah. I'll let Stacey go next, but you can't stop human spirit. We're going to get better, and we're going to want to get back to state of normacy.
Yeah, I think so. I think if we continue to, if we don't overwhelm the hospitals, I think that's a really key part, and just like the amazing work that they're doing. But if we don't slow it down, they're going to be overwhelmed. But I think it's been a time for a lot of people to slow down and reflect, and our country has been forced to re-examine how they do things in a lot of ways, and just examine our policies and what's possible in terms of just caring for humans in this country, and maybe adopting more humanitarian policies and ways to go about taking care of people, because there's so many cracks in our system, and people need more than what the government gives them. So I'm hopeful that we can come out of this with having a more solid healthcare system. And
yeah, Stacey was talking about a lot of these ideas, like giving everyone $1,200 check is a socialist idea. It's a good idea. If people are out of work, give them money to put into the economy. You can only spend U.S. dollars here.
Stacey, you're right, Chris, but Stacey hit the nail on the head with the slow down and reflect, and I think that's what a lot of us need to do in order to survive and to be right of mind.
Yeah.
And I'm selfish. I want everyone to be healthy. My wife can go to the hospital and not be surrounded by people with coronavirus, so she can give birth and be healthy. And the kid can be healthy. So if everyone finds reason to be selfish for someone else, we'll be okay.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of selfishness here too. I hear about women who are having to give birth right now without their partner and without any support in their room, and just I can't even imagine what that would be like. And that's just the scary reality we're in right now, and I'm hopeful that'll change by the time we're due.
Any words or parting words of encouragement and hope for people out there?
I don't know. I think it's important to reframe things. Sometimes if you find yourself getting into a very hopeless, negative outlook of, just being overwhelmed by things, and kind of reframe it to a time of just thinking about the potential with this extra time and how you can take advantage of it and enrich yourself in new ways and learn new things. Obviously, that's if you're not fighting a disease or your immediate family isn't. And also filter your news sources, because it can be really overwhelming. So find the one that you trust and stick to that. I think is important, because otherwise it just becomes really, really consuming.
You can't even top that, can you, Chris?
I wanted to say ditto, but not sound flippant. So I concur.
He had a good idea, though, of if you don't have a dog, think about getting a dog or adopting or fostering a dog right now. I think that helps a lot of people who might feel lonely right now, and the shelters have a need.
Go shopping online right now for a dog, a pet, and take your dog or a cat out of the foster system to save a life from being euthanized, and take it home with you and stay in your home. Teach us some tricks.
Find entertainer and hypnotist Chris Jones at hypnotistchrisjones.com. The One Word Chris Jones Podcast, a podcast for higher production.